This Dufresne Watch Company, we like 3x their revenue. I flipped the coin, media company, bam.
We're almost building like a new age like ad agency. Currently what we're trying to do is like build ads that are like a hybrid of like, you know, like this is high-end production and it's sexy and cinematic, but it's also kind of following this like new age structure that is like hook, educate, like call to action.
Video is just the key to selling online. We've focused seriously on our resources to like make sure that we're making really cool video, but then also making video that is compelling and engaging to people when they see it for the first time. Our main goal is still making them money. And if it doesn't, then we failed.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off-Topic. Today we're at the lovely Hitch Media compound. I'm with Carlos Mojica, co-owner, co-founder of Opinionated Media. I'm with Thomas McGuane and then Sean Clellan.
Clellan.
Close
enough. Okay,
cool.
We'll take it.
Sorry for botching that, but you know, we've finally been able to sit down with them. You know, they do some great things, work with clients, do media like us in different ways, and just want to get to know them more and hear more about their story and their come up. But thank you guys for the hospitality. I know we're starting a little later, but really appreciate it, and excited to just get to know both of y'all more. You know, it's been a great so far since you've been here. So
no, we're super excited. I know we've been trying to make this work for a very long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm the reason we started late. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was running a little behind. I actually went the wrong way. So we have each other's locations, and I mapped it out, and I was like, oh, it only takes 20 minutes to get there. I'll leave about 6:10, and I had to go get gas. And then they were texting when I was getting gas, so I just opened up the messages. So I just clicked on his location. And when I clicked on, because he made it seem like he was here. He was like, are y'all here? And I was like, oh, Albert's there already. So I clicked it, and then it took me to where he was all the way in Westlake.
Oh, shit.
So I was basically about a mile from where he was at that point. And then I was like, I feel like this is just the wrong way. Because in my head, I thought it was right because it on the address says North Capitol Texas Highway. So I was like, okay, maybe it is over there. And then he said East 9th Street. I was like, wait, is it downtown? And so like I just had a gut feeling, so I checked their locations again, and it was all the way over here. I was like, dude. So I had to drive all the way back.
Don't worry.
Yeah, we're the kings of running late.
Yeah, and we had to do the whole setups. Yeah.
So I appreciate y'all. Again, thank y'all taking time out y'all's day. Y'all are busy people, and we talked off camera. They're usually gone about this time, so it means a lot that you're all staying a little extra. But just give us a little backstory, however y'all want to do it. Who wants to go first or whatever?
Thomas is way better at explaining it than I am.
Please give a little backstory where you started.
I guess I'll give the whole story. Yeah. So Sean and I met at University of Arizona in 2017, both as freshmen. I met him on like kind of like it's like an app they give incoming freshmen to meet like random people to become roommates. Yep. Sean, like, I was like talking to one other guy, and then Sean was just like, all right, so we're good, right? And I was like, all right, fuck it, yeah, I guess we'll be roommates.
That's how it went?
Yeah, pretty much. Right. And then met him at orientation, and obviously it really fucked with him.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, thank God, all right, I at least have a good roommate. Then went there in the fall, and for a bunch of random reasons ended up leaving after a semester. Sean stayed for another semester for 1 year. And then I went back to Montana State. I'm from Bozeman, Montana. Just thought I'd go to school there. It was like cheaper. Obviously, it was in-state, and I knew a bunch of friends going there. And it just kind of made more sense for me. And then around like 2019, Sean was back in Texas, back in Austin, going to ACC. Yeah.
Riverbed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, trying to get into UT. And then I
didn't get in, by the way. Yeah.
I came here.
No, I love UT.
It's hard, man.
It's hard.
It's getting harder and harder every year. Sorry, it's getting harder and harder
really
every
quick
year.
Before his story goes on, I like didn't do well in school at University of Arizona. I didn't care. I was like in the whole fraternity life, and then I went to ACC, made good grades at ACC, but my GPA was so bad from Arizona. There was just no way I was even close to getting in to UT, so I don't even know why I did ACC after that point. But continue.
Yeah, so I got an internship here in the summer of 2019, which is kind of perfect because Sean was living here, so I like had a place to stay, which was amazing. It was like his third roommate was like out of town for the summer, so it just kind of like worked perfectly. I was at an internship at GSC&M, which is an ad agency here. And so I guess to backtrack a little bit, when I was my one semester at U of A, Sean and I had this idea for this website/app, and we called it Hitch University. And the whole like concept was you could go on there and you could review your professors, your classes, your dorms, the bar scene, like the food scene. We kind of wanted to be like an all-encompassing like rating like hub where you could just rate everything on your campus.
And the professors were verified, and all the students were verified for the reviews. Like Rate My Professor, like the professor could have gone in and just wrote all the reviews for himself. So we were trying to make it through the student portal where they could do that. But,
That's dope.
So yeah, that was like our first like kind of entrepreneurial kind of mashup together, and we definitely like both clicked that way instantly. But in Texas here, I was kind of doing my own thing. Sean was doing his own thing. But we were still kind of working on it, but it wasn't really like taking off like we wanted it to. We had like a good amount of students on the platform, but there wasn't
every professor on
and
it.
we got like every professor like kind of manually logged in onto it. But it was going to be one of those things that was going to take just like, you know, our whole dedication and 100% of our effort. And I think maybe it just wasn't like exactly what we were dreaming of our futures. So anyways, I go back to Montana for like my junior year, and Sean is kind of deciding what to do. And I was like, yo, dude, just come to Montana with me. Like, it'll be sick. Like, I imagine for most of you guys, like, Bozeman, Montana sounds like random as fuck. Like, middle of nowhere.
Not for me.
Montana sounds random.
Yeah, I imagine that's like...
That's how I felt. I didn't even know it was like a real place.
Like, I definitely, like, my whole experience at, like, Arizona and, like, initially coming to Austin, everyone's like, what? Like, what the fuck is Montana? Like, what do you do there? And I was like, oh, whatever. Like, it's honestly like Colorado.
It's
like,
beautiful, though.
It's like a ski town. Like, you ski and you, like, go out and, like, it's, like, pretty much the same as most places you'd be. But I convinced Sean to come. So he came for, like, that junior year and then all the way through college. And I would say, like, in 2020 was kind of, like, the summer of 2020, we were like, all right, like, we knew we were going to work together because we just, like, totally vibed that way. And it was going to be either, like, videography, because that's what I was doing. I was doing kind of, like, real estate videography, and I was going to film school. I have kind of this long background of, like, shooting and doing editing and stuff. So I was like, we can either do that. You could do, like, the business side. I could do, like, the creative side. Or we were like, we're going to do, like, a lawn mowing business, and we're going to, like, buy a bunch of lawnmowers. And, like, and, like, this is random, but, like, Sean was on, like TikTok Live.
Yeah, I'll explain that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was on a TikTok Live with Gary V, which is so random. It was like during COVID, right? Was it before COVID?
No, it was like, I think it was before COVID probably.
Yeah, maybe like right before COVID. I was just on TikTok Live. I don't even know what TikTok was at that point. I'm just screwing around, and I'm in this live thing, and I think I'm in this line to talk with Gary Vaynerchuk, and it just pops up, and I'm just sitting on my couch, and it like he pops up in front of me, and he's like, "What's your question?" I didn't even know that I was like about to be doing this, and I talked to him, and I'm like, "What do we do?" Me and my best friend are thinking about starting a media company, which he had, like, or a lawn mowing company, and we were right. In between it, we had no idea what we were doing. Like,
which really feels like insane
now. Yeah, but at the time, it seemed normal. Like, one of our best friends had started a lawn mowing company that was making a lot of money, and so we were like in between it. He was just saying, if you don't know it all, you might as well just flip a coin and just whatever the coin flips on, just go for that. Because we were saying, like, we genuinely didn't know what to do. I flipped the coin, and I think it flipped on the lawn mowing side, and we were like,
it was like one of those classic things where you don't want that outcome. And
like, actually, like, thinking about that, like, that's not the best thing to do. And we flipped again, heads, media company, bam. And we went, and Thomas and I just started doing a lot of, like, real estate content, and we were working with, like, a local delivery grocery service called, what was it called again?
Farmer's Cart, or maybe
they changed their name or something. I don't know.
Just like with like Bozeman is a small enough town where I knew like people's parents who had businesses and like their friends. And so it was like kind of a small knit community where you could like get work that way. And like,
Exactly.
I'm not even sure if the stuff we were doing was providing that much value with like hindsight now, but like they were being nice, and a lot of it was kind of.
We were building websites too.
Yeah, we were doing kind of like.
Yeah.
It was like the baseline media stuff, like, hey, you need a website, we can do that. And like Sean would design it on Wix, and then I would shoot the real estate video and then we'd post it on Instagram. And I think that just kind of snowballed where like we were making like enough money, but like which was nothing, but we were making enough where we were like interested in it, and we were building kind of like a baseline of like this potential business we could be doing.
Like every now and then we would get a little like a few $1,000s where we're like, oh, whoa, this is cool. But at the same time, we were college students or, you know, just doing random things to just make random money on the side. But
but it's dope because that few $1,000s you did get, it showed you like, okay, there is something here.
Exactly.
To like,
we're like, there's something.
$10,000, $100,000 here. There's something here that we just got to keep going and get there.
And I think one of the great things about like videography or media in general is you can like obviously have your initial investment of like a camera. And I think I was fortunate enough to get like, it was like my 18th birthday present. I got like a camera. And then after that, like we're just filming and editing. So like there wasn't much like investment into like the product that we're selling. So it's kind of like that $1,000 we made was like just $1,000 profit. And like we didn't, at this time we didn't have an office. Like we were just like college students. We were like, fuck yeah, like it's $1,000. And like, that's, I think if you listen to a lot of people talking about like when they started doing music videos for $500 or like they started doing like DJing parties or whatever for like $500, like that was like kind of the igniter for them to be like, damn, okay, this is pretty sick. Like, I feel like everyone has like, oh, when I first made my first $500, like that was so awesome. I think we definitely had that. And then through college, just kept doing it. Sean was going to business school and I was going to film school. And then I think like around 2021, I guess would have been when we were graduating, everyone was kind of like getting jobs and stuff, which was like kind of scary because, I mean, with like entrepreneurship or like kind of what we were doing in general, like so much of it is like uncertain and like there's not like salaries and there's not like health benefits, and like coming out of college, everyone is going right into these jobs where like they're getting all this and like it's safe and like it's just like clearly the next step. And people would ask us like, oh, what are you guys gonna do? And I'd be like, I think just the same thing. And they'd be like, oh, okay. Like we're like, but yeah, like I think just the same thing and try to keep doing it. And just like I feel like most people's reactions were just kind of like, it wasn't like that gratifying. I was like,
no.
I mean, my parents were always super supportive, which was so great. And like,
I remember your cousin roasting us.
Yeah, like my friends, like I love my friends, but they're not like, they're more like roasters than supporters.
Well, it's because we always talk about it, but it's weird. It's because like some of the closest people to you or like your closest friends, they really don't jump on the ship until the ship sailed.
Oh,
as much as it sucks.
I remember his cousin. Like I would like stay at their place and I'd be on the couch and we'd be working on things at night, and he would get home from like his work that maybe he was like at for 8 hours, and he would see me on the couch just sitting there, and he's like, are you ever gonna get a job? Are you ever gonna work? Like stuff like that. And
like, dude, like we are working, like it's different.
I promise we're working. It's different than what you're talking about, but it would make us feel like shit.
And I feel like y'all are ahead of the curve too, you know, like that media and stuff like that kind of wasn't as prevalent back then, I would say, but now like it's very common.
No, I was like when it was, I was like that's when it was like started popping off, because that was like COVID, so like everybody, that's when everybody kind of came consecrated because nobody was doing anything. Everybody was in their house.
It really
so
was like a totally different landscape. Even then, because like
it was just commercial.
It was like you make a video and like you could put it on Instagram, but Instagram Reels, like how it is now, was not even. It was like just the feed, and like you would post like a landscape video.
And it would still post it as a reel, but it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like how TikTok is now.
I don't even think they had reels.
Yeah, like the machine of like this new TikTok reel world was not a thing.
YouTube Shorts wasn't a thing.
Which is crazy because that was like 3 years ago. Or, I mean, 5 years ago. 4 years ago.
No,
but,
sure.
But yeah, so that was that. And then
TikTok was weird.
Yeah. We decided to move. We were either going to go to LA or Austin. And like almost my whole life, I was like, I'm going to go to college and like go to LA after and like probably go work in the film industry. But like this was like something different kind of. And after like living in Austin here, I really fucked with it. And we went to LA a couple times and just like met the wackest people. Like maybe like
We went to the Hype House. Remember that?
yeah, we would go and like be there for 2 days and like we met up with this friend, like went to some like influencer things, and we were like, God, this is like such a
Cringe.
like
Bro,
so cringe. Like,
absolutely.
It's like I feel like there's a big facade of like what that actually looks
Wait,
like.
wait. We have to say that we have to mention the Austin Hoyle story.
What?
Well, just like when we basically were there for one day. We're staying with our friend. He's like, I have connects at the Hype House. You guys know what that is?
No, what is that?
It was like Bryce Hall and like that whole like TikTok house thing.
Yes.
Back in the day, yeah. So we go for one day. We're just there for one day. Our friend's like, oh, I have connects. Like, let's go. Whatever.
Yeah.
We pull up. It's the cringest thing ever. We pull up into this Hype House.
Yeah.
And we walk in. It's like all these people that are just like trying to get in. And there's like a lobby in the front of the house where like 40 people are just hanging out, trying to hang out with like these like influencers.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing ever. But right when we get in, like Bryce Hall, his friends, I don't know who else was there. I just remember Bryce Hall was there. They all had their shirts off. It was
literally
insane.
like 10 dudes come from the basement, all with their shirts off.
All with their shirts off in the living room. They're like, this is like, what'd they say? They're like,
They're like, if you don't leave, it's about to be a slap
yeah, if you
party.
don't leave, this is about to be a slap party. And we're just there, and we're just like,
It just sucked because it was like,
the heck?
If you've ever been like invited to a party or like not invited to a party, but you're at a party, then that you didn't really want to go to.
was the worst feeling
But they
ever.
but you're like, you get kicked out. You're like, dude, I didn't even want to be here. Like, you're kicking me out. And so it was just like, it was just honestly.
They all had their shirts off. They come down the stairs like fucking Moses, and it was crazy. They just came down and they just kicked everyone out, and it was just a weird situation.
It was just overall, it's just like we were like, God, this is LA.
Like we didn't want to be here, or like someone brought us here, and like you guys are acting like we're like trying to be in this whole location, like whatever.
And we just like had friends here, and we like hung out in San Diego a lot, and like it was more of like the like almost like Greek life like group of people, and it was a little bit more like elegant than like kind of this new world influencing world.
Because when we went to LA that one time, it was like during COVID.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It was like also during COVID.
Yeah. Cali was crazy.
Yeah.
'cause I
It
went to
was
San Diego
weird
during
at that
it.
time. It was weird, man.
Yeah.
But anyways, it just like left us kind of with like a weird taste in our mouth about LA. So we were like, let's go to Austin, and we just kind of committed to it. And one of our buddies from Montana came out here with us too.
Yeah.
Shout out Trey.
Fire.
Shout out fucking Trey. But
and then
it was.
Yeah, then we got here, and we were working out of. We had a place on East 4th on the east side, and we had a back house, and we decided we were gonna set that up as our studio and like work area, and it was a ton of fun, but we just kind of struggled with like bringing clients there, especially when most of our clients are in their 50s or like 60s. So it was like, hey, welcome to
My
our
dog
shack.
like walking through dog poop.
Yeah, it was just like not pretty, and
not good.
I think Sean and I are both like people who are like our work's influenced by our like environment a ton.
Absolutely.
Where like like we've always been like office people. Like even in Montana, we had two offices.
We had an office downtown in Montana.
And it just like really makes it feel more legit. I know some people totally can work from home, and like it would be stupid for them to get an office. It'd just be a waste of money. But I truly think for us, like having an office has always helped us
so much.
Like stay on top of things, have like kind of that like regulated schedule.
Yeah.
And it just the appeal is better for bringing people in, and like
No, for sure.
it helps us sign deals for sure. I feel like
Especially for like an entrepreneur, like you guys were saying, you know, if you're working with clients, you need to be able to bring them to a place that they feel like, okay, they're taking it serious, so I need to take them serious. And then having that work-life balance, like if you're always doing stuff at home, it's very easy to get distracted, or just you're driving yourself crazy because you're not changing the environment at all. So
yeah,
exactly.
And it makes y'all like interact with each other because y'all see each other every day.
100%.
So that's just more room for growth as well.
Absolutely.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we, I mean, that was like 2 years ago. We've been in Austin now 2 years, like almost exactly.
Yeah.
to the
Oh wow,
day.
so not even like super long.
2 years. We had the other. So we had we were at our house in our house office for probably like 4 months, 5 months, and then we got an office on the second floor in this building that was trash. Like actually, it was no windows, like 3 rooms. At the time, it felt really cool. But now looking back on it, like everyone that walked in was like, whoa. Like, you couldn't even see light. Like you would leave that place and walk outside and be blinded by the light.
Yeah. It like helped you work later though, because it'd be like 8 and you wouldn't even notice that the light went down. You're like, all right, fuck, I gotta leave now probably.
So then we got this place. Like we started getting bigger clients. We're like, we need this place, and now we feel so great when we're able to bring clients here. Like
it's super nice.
Give
it's
them
perfect.
cool
Got a window,
things.
got the TV right here, and talk about.
And you have everything segmented too.
Yeah.
Like you can actually separate stuff and have rooms for.
We pitch
specific
clients in here
stuff.
all the time.
Yeah.
Too. Like, we can just get them on that side. We're on this side. Go through a whole deck together.
Even the walkthrough that he gave me, like you can pitch them through there. Like, oh, this is the office. Like we have different setups already set up. So like if you want to do other stuff, we can do that too. Like we have a podcast room if you want to do your podcast room. We have a shoot room if you want to do your shoot room.
Like I don't even want to say this, but like we got such a good deal on this place that it makes it seem like we're like more. We have more money than we do.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It sounds stupid, though, but like this office, like we love having the downtown spot.
Yeah,
we
and
just, for lunch every day we just walk downtown. It's great.
That's fire.
So
all right,
I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, and like it's gonna be like a backtrack a little bit into now. So when y'all first started in y'all in Montana, how did y'all go about determining y'all's prices? Because like you need a few thousand here and there.
That's a really
and
good question.
then like you're just starting out, and this is like y'all's first business.
Yeah.
So it's a small town, but how do you get people to believe in you? And like we know how hard it is to do all this stuff, and the time it takes to do it. So like they hear $1,500, it's only gonna be 30 minutes, but it's like, well, you got this, and this. So it's like back then, even now, like how did y'all determine y'all's prices?
Yeah, it was really tough at first. I think I'll show you guys after, but we have a plaque of our first contract we ever signed. It was for $1,800, and I think we gave them like 35 or 40 different videos.
Dang.
But they were like deliverables. So some of them were similar to each other. But like when we first started, you're just doing everything you possibly can to sign that client. Like it was a gym. It was called Urban Fitness. We did a client before that, but never signed a contract. This is like our first contract. $1,800. If I'm looking back on it, like it was so worth it, but we spent like 3 months on it. Like the money wise, if you look at it, 3 months is really tough. I think over time from that, we were able to price ourselves more in. Over time, you really learn how you can price yourself. It takes a while. Like we probably until within the year to the point where we weren't sure what we should price ourselves and still felt uncomfortable about how we were pricing ourselves. It's tough. Like, I don't know how people
gauge on how you're supposed to, because it's hard.
No, it's really hard.
I think our initial approach was just like, hey, these guys own like a 30,000 square foot gym.
That's
like, they've got hella members. They could probably afford $1,800.
Yeah.
$500 for what we were delivering. We knew that was underselling.
Yeah.
And we were shooting it on like a Sony A7 III.
At the time, it was better.
We're like, this is worth this much. It was honestly like, I think for our skill level, that was fair, but for like actual we were delivering is quite a bit under.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like my advice would just be like, feel out what you think they could pay and just do a little research, and then just go for it. And you can like, you could throw out 3,000. We probably could have thrown out 3,000. They might have been like,
they probably would have done it.
Or they might have.
Or they might have not.
You can always pivot. Like I think it's good to not be afraid of stating a number that's like starting high, because that's just like general business negotiation. Like
if you start high, like if they think it's too much, they'll tell you, and then you can negotiate from there.
Lower.
But if you're going too low,
they're like, oh easy money, come on.
Yeah, because that's something I've learned too. Is just like, don't ever think it's like you're like, oh, I would never pay that, but it's not your money. Like that could just be a wash cost for them, right? So it's like if they're making a ton of money or whatever the case may be, like
just make sure to value yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
please value yourself.
I think the biggest thing is like, because I'm someone who like will feel guilt about like overbidding something, or like, are they getting the value that they like deserve from this much money? Because like, especially now when we're working with like much higher budgets, like in the more 10,000 to 20,000 range, like it feels like so much, and you're like, damn, like you're giving us like a Camry to like for video.
Yeah.
But I think if you just think about like the human element of it, and you're saying, hey, you're like actually paying like 5 to 7 people to literally work on this project and put in this many hours, comparable to another job where they're doing that many hours, like that's actually what the value is. And when you're like, a lot of people in video will say, oh, like, look at all your equipment and like how much would it cost to rent that for a day? Yeah. That's like your pricing. And like sometimes we do that, and sometimes we're just like, we don't even think about that because we want to land the client. We just say like human labor, like, hey, it's going to be $15,000 for this package or something like that.
Yeah.
I think just always, if you think about the human element of it, and like you are like a human being with one life, like working for someone else on like just helping their business do better. Like it's I think you can kind of position it that way in your mind, and you can kind of negate any guilt you might have. Just kind of be confident.
We had when we first met the Pouch Six boys, we had like a long conversation there, and that was one of his questions, was like, how do you like go about getting more money? Because like it's hard to price, because you don't want to sell yourself short, and then people who don't understand it, like, that's a lot of money. So it's like, how do I find that basically? But it's like, how do I find that like in between? And then he was just saying something along the lines of like, show them how much money you can make them just for spending this much money on a video, because they charge an insane amount of money for a hedge company video, and the video was like 30 seconds, but the money they charged was crazy. I think it was actually more than 30 seconds, but it was just the return on the investment they'll get, because they'll post on YouTube and it's just money coming in. But he's like, you just have to show them like what your video can do for them.
Exactly. That's that's a huge part of it. Like that, like, okay, when we first started, it was like, we're making videos for you, take them and do what you want with them. But at that point, they don't know what to do with them. Like, you give them to clients, and they're like, oh, we'll take the video. We're going to post it online. It's going to go crazy. But they're not, like, putting any money behind it. They don't know what they're doing. So they'll just take our, like, really cool brand story. They post it, and it has, like, 5 likes. And they're like, fuck you, Hitch Media. Like, why did you give us this video that doesn't do anything? So, yeah, at first, it was bad, but that's why we learned to be able to like make ads for people. And like, so now when we give people content, we're always in the mode that we want to run the ads for them and like make sure that they're promoting it the right way.
Because most people don't know how.
They take our videos and they just fucking shit them and like put them in the corner and
just post them at a random time, and like it won't hit the algorithm,
or like they don't even know what they want from it. It's like,
for sure, what
like,
you're trying to hit.
We want people to hire us and know that they're gonna make more money from it. If they're not going to make more money, like, don't fucking hire us.
Unless it's like a really big company
or a brand awareness thing.
You know? So I think maybe that's a good point to talk about, is like, one of our goals is to create like a funnel for our clients, and like the different pieces of that are like, you know, brand awareness, UGC, and like some other things in the middle.
Hitting objectives.
And like a brand awareness video is like the sexiest thing you can do, but it's probably like not the most like effective in like generating sales and revenue. Because it's like, you know, it's like a sizzle reel. Like you make like a sick like recap of like this weekend that this brand sponsored, and it's like, maybe it's a minute. But like, we've learned that obviously, like, to actually sell online, unfortunately, in a way, it's like you kind of have to be salesy. You have to use like all these new modern techniques of hooking people and like converting them, and like really being like following this structure that will actually generate sales. And that's more like kind of, I don't know, we don't even really have a word for it, but it's like, sometimes we'll call it like direct address, because we'll have the founder talking to the camera, like just different techniques to like actually make their product sell. But I mean, that's one pillar, but the other pillar, brand awareness, is like the more like, if you follow like a production company on Instagram, like they're probably going to be posting like their like, you know, minute director's cut of like this car ad they did, which is like more like them. You might not even see the car till like 5 seconds in. But if you were selling, say, like a watch, you like, that'd be crazy if you didn't show the watch like within the first like second, because you only have like 2 seconds to hook these people to get them to sell. So I think currently what we're trying to do is like build ads that are like a hybrid of like, you know, like this is high-end production and it's sexy and cinematic, but it's also kind of following this like new age structure that is like hook, educate, like call to action, and sell. And one great thing about that, going back to Sean's point, is like we used to give the content to them. They didn't know what to do it. They might post it wrong even. Like they might do it with some weird shit, then it goes up and it's all pixelated.
We would see it and we'd like
what are you doing?
It's probably like your worst nightmare is it being pixelated, because you're like,
our work looks like shit.
Yeah.
now. Yeah. So
And they're not even running ads on it. They're just like, oh, we'll post this on Instagram. One
Yeah,
time,
they
and
just
it'll get,
expect the machine
8
to do
likes.
what it
It's
to,
like,
to
what
push
are you
it.
doing?
Yeah.
So we learned that when you can like provide like content that sells, you can actually tell them, hey, like this investment that you're making in our work is going to actually generate revenue for you, and it's going to pay for itself for sure.
Yeah.
And like we've proven that with some of our clients. We can have that in case studies.
We should talk about the.
Yeah,
we should talk
in a
about
second.
the
But I
Yeah.
want to talk about how, like, so we were like the video guys. That was kind of our thing. Sean
Yeah.
ran the business and acted as like a producer, and I would like
Mhm.
direct and edit. But I think probably like, you know, like a year and a half ago, we met like some paid media people who run ads on like Meta, Google, TikTok, whatever.
Yeah.
And having that as like an element of our package that we sell
Changed
Mhm.
everything.
it changed everything, because now we can actually have retainer work. And like if you don't know, retainer work is
Mhm.
like reoccurring.
Yep.
You're like every month you're doing a shoot or making these ads, and we're getting paid to run them as well. And it's really hard to get retainer work for just video, because honestly, like you don't really need new video every month.
They
Maybe every
can't see,
quarter.
and then they can't see how it's
yeah.
performing.
But if we have
Yeah.
you on retainer with the paid media, we're like getting paid monthly, which allows our business to
and
actually
then they're
operate.
seeing that they're making more money monthly too.
Mhm.
And then we can
So
be
it's
like, hey, it's been a quarter, let's do some more content. And since we're already doing so well, let's shoot a brand awareness video, a sizzle for your website. And that's where we can be like, all right, let's make this sexy
Mhm.
and a
Yeah.
little less addy. But we just really want to have like all the pillars.
Mhm.
So it's effective, and we can just kind of get those retainer clients more often and build our business from
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and
for sure.
and this company Dufresne is a great
Yeah.
example of that. Like I was talking about, like
Yeah.
we've tripled their business.
Wow.
That's nice.
Like completely online. Like we're gonna come out with a review video that we just did with them, but I think like what we've done with them, we're figuring out that the high ticket products are amazing, and that's like our bread and butter, like working with high retainer clients that are doing a lot of different things in this world. But
Yeah,
It's
like-
better to work business to business, because typically the businesses that are like, I guess, established, they have that
Yeah.
marketing
Mhm.
budget, so they're able
Yeah.
to spend that $10,000 because that's in their budget.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
allocated.
Yeah.
Yeah. What has been some of the hardest part of like with all this of like just building it and branding, making it like sustainable? Because obviously
getting retainer clients,
Yeah.
like at first, for probably the first 2 years, it was
Yeah.
all like one off to one off to one off
Yeah.
to one off. That was so tough.
Yeah.
Like it would be at like we'd go through a month where like we are rich. Like we'd
Yeah.
be like, oh my god, we're we're
Yeah.
making so much money, blah blah blah. But then the next month would come and we're like, oh, we had to spend all that and we have no
Nothing
clients
coming
coming in
in.
this
Yeah.
month. So like stuff like that really makes it tough.
Yeah, I think like the hardest part too has been like besides when we were doing that and we were kind of struggling with like having that reoccurring income, it was I think now it still is like kind of systemizing the whole business. I would imagine that's like kind of that next step for most people who run a business. So now we're just trying to like hire people who can help us like legitify the business, and
Yeah.
like Sarah we just hired, and she's gonna help us kind of build these systems and this organization that
Yeah.
Sean and I, because Sean and I are both kind of like, we're very similar in that we're kind of like ADD, like
I feel you.
like we're doers, like we're good at doing
100%.
shit, but like
Like we get shit done.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, people are always like, oh wow, you've done all this by now, but like there's so much of it. We're
There's
like,
so
yeah,
many
it's
little
not-
things. You're
yeah,
just
like
like
and you're
you
only
guys
two
should be doing
people.
something.
Like at
Yeah.
the end of the day,
Yeah.
like you really
Yeah.
can't. You don't
We
have the
need help.
capacity.
We need help.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
so we have like
But we
7
do.
of
We,
us.
yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Shout out
but
to
even
them.
when you get like 7 people, and even if some of them are older, as the business owners, you still have to be like the leaders, and you still have to like
100%.
delegate. And like it's really nice because people do know, they come and they recognize them. They're like, okay, we can help you
Yeah.
here, we can help you here, but still
Exactly.
it's like the hardest part I think is like creating these systems and like this workflow that is like scalable and like
too.
and then also like quality control, and like because like so much of like production, like a big production company usually is selling like their directors. Like if you look at like any big production company's website, usually it's like 3 tabs and it's like directors, work, contact, and it's like they're selling pretty much like 4 directors like personal style, but that's like not really scalable because those 4 guys can only work so much.
Yep.
So like with us, it's like for so long I do all the shooting and like all the editing, and like I can still do all the shooting now with Alex. He's really great. He's our DP.
Alex is a fucking beast.
And some other people, but the hardest thing is like once you get to the phase where you can start delegating other work, especially when it's like creative work, it's hard to keep it like the quality there and make sure it's
100%.
still speaking to like what you sold them, the client initially.
Yeah.
Like,
And that makes it hard to scale.
It's hard to delegate too, because it's like you see the vision, so you know how you want it. You can tell somebody how you want it, but when you're telling them, they see something different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not how you didn't do a bad job. It's just not how I wanted it.
Exactly.
And then also just having that feedback too, because like everybody like has ideas and stuff that you can incorporate into the business and evolve it, and like you said, hard to scale and things like that. So okay, my bad. I thought you were. So you guys have like focused on the in-house like digital marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What has been like some of the strengths of that, and how have you guys been able to separate yourself from like other media companies that are maybe pitching the same stuff?
I think should we talk about Dufresne?
Yeah, I think more generally though, I think the way that we position ourselves different, and this will tie into Dufresne, is that we are the video team and the paid media team. Like I almost
It's
everywhere
very
you look,
rarely where you
especially
get
in
that.
Austin.
Yeah,
Like you have big ad agencies, which are pretty much just middlemen and creative directors who hire production companies.
100%.
Then you have like small, like boutique, like paid media, almost like individuals who we got started with, usually just like a couple people, but they don't do video. Like rarely do you find someone that's like, oh, I do paid media and I do videography. It's just too much. And then there's like bigger paid media agencies who we work with now. We partnered with one. So our thing is like packaging that into like this like duality of video and paid media, and also social media management and influencer marketing.
Yeah.
So it's like we're almost building like, I want to say like a new age like ad agency, which is more like boots on the ground. Like when I interned at GSD&M, like my kind of overall takeaway from it at the end was that like it's like, damn, I don't really want to do this, because the production team in these ad agencies is doing like very little things. Like they're doing like cut downs, they're doing like motion graphics, and they're doing like the smallest like production pieces that their clients want, and then all their big stuff they're hiring out production companies. So I was like, I don't really want to just like be doing the little things or just like be like conceptualizing the projects, but I also don't want to be just the production company that is just like pretty much like a production company could be 2 people, like So I was like, I think we just wanted to build like the hybrid, the mixed media, mixed utility thing.
You're just cutting out the middleman.
Exactly.
No, 100%.
And with the kind of evolution, even in the past like 3 years, with like video technology and kind of the public's desire for content and like the way they see it is like it's like the almost like the expectations of quality in a weird way are like a little lower, even though like everyone's skill level as humanity of creatives is like higher. But like we could shoot, we do a 5-person crew, and we could go shoot it on like a Komodo or like something, and have like a pretty close to like top tier look, or at least it's good enough for like what we're selling currently. Maybe if we work with Ford, we might need like a 20-person crew and like do the whole Benang or whatever you say. But yeah, I think like right now, the technology is making it easier for us all to do these like kind of skeleton crew shoots, and the public's opinion on like media is almost like lower. Like you see a lot of like the most effective ads sometimes are like like some mom who like is filming on her iPhone, like, I just got these meat chips and I love them, they're great, and then they shot like a $30,000 high production, and it's a little bit less like
Meat
TikTok.
chips?
Remember the meat chips or the
No.
there's like
Well,
beef jerky.
That's
things?
what like TikTok is basically, because I mean, my mom's on TikTok, so she always finds like new things at like Sam's or Costco from TikTok. So it's just, I mean, that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, that brings up a good point too. Like some of the overly cinematic stuff sometimes doesn't like hit that target as opposed to
It doesn't. It
as
doesn't.
something simple. Like sometimes people just, the average person, they'll see something simple and they're like, okay, this is relatable to me. I understand what's going on. Sometimes stuff that we like seeing is too much, over the top, you know. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I really think like, cause like, it's definitely like a debate topic right now. Is like, oh, is it like high production versus kind of like user generated content?
It's
and
in between.
Some people are like, oh, like why would I even spend that money? Cause like I could just get like 4 micro influencers to like shoot some like iPhone stuff and that.
Fuck that.
But however, that I think speaks like when you only see a company posting ads that are like just user generated, I feel like that will sometimes just give the vibe that it's like
It's a cop
it's like a
out.
TikTok company, or it's kind of like on that like, you know, it's like product review, TikTok, YouTube kind of vibe where it's not speaking to the
100% agree.
quality as much.
100% agree.
So you guys have been working with clients, you know, have established that, you know, over the course of the years. What has been some of the research, you know, it's taken to work with some of these clients to understand how to showcase them a high ROI on whatever their service they're providing and things like that?
Dang, that's a good question.
So I guess I could kind of walk you through like how we do it. So initially say we've already kind of like got our first cold email out from like Sean or Sarah or someone who's doing kind of like our sales, and they agree to meet with us, our first like point of attack, which would be like research, like you said, I think is just like, some of it is a little bit of our just innate understanding of like youth and kind of like society and how like a brand presents itself to like the public image. And we obviously go to their website, look at what they've done, then we'll go to like Facebook ads library, see if they're running any ads, and then I think just like asking ourselves a few questions like what are they doing wrong? Like if this was my hat company, like why would I be doing it this way? What parts of their website are like a little off and maybe aren't gonna like convert for them? And then kind of putting a deck together and saying, hey, like based off our initial analysis, we feel like you guys have like a shitty website with like very low visuals. Your ads are like not getting to the point at all. If we switch these, they should kind of work much better. When people arrive on your website, the photos and videos are going to be much more poppy, much more like engaging. And so we should be able to generate more revenue for you that way. I think there's probably some other tools for researching. I think also researching competitors is like huge, because whenever we get a client, like especially kind of in like the local Austin atmosphere, there's like definitely a competitor who's probably already bigger and doing it better. There almost always is. You can like
contacted them.
Yeah, so you can look at them and say, oh, like say if like you're working with like a local like probiotic soda or something, like
Poppy.
you can look at Poppy or Ollie Pop and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, shit, because like they're like kind of put on a pedestal right now with like their success they've had.
Yeah.
And we can say, oh shit, like this is how they're doing it. Obviously that doesn't totally fit your brand image, but we can take that and like tailor it to your brand.
Yeah.
And that should work. And like honestly, a lot of times it is like your gut instinct and kind of like your feeling towards it. I know like bigger agencies are using like crazy amounts of data, and like our play with data comes a little bit later for like our paid media guys. Like they can look at like past ads that have been ran, look at all the data and see on their side how to like most properly run this stuff. But I think more for like the creative side, it's less like black and white. Like it's more it's like very nuanced, kind of like the understanding of how like video works for like selling, and especially like what combo and like what structure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean that's
We've figured out that like video is just the key to selling online. Like it is, there's nothing else that sells better than that online. So we've focused seriously on our resources to like make sure that we're making really cool video, but then also making video that is compelling and engaging to people when they see it for the first time. I think seeing video for the first time is so important. Just like the first time they're seeing the brand and like what they're getting out of the first time they're seeing it is really important. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, for sure.
So, I guess so we're in the process of trying to get our first sponsorship.
Yes.
So we'll
You
just
guys
take
are
it back
close.
to
You
y'all.
guys are
We'll take it
close.
back to y'all when y'all did that first gym thing. What your advice, or how would y'all go about telling or showing somebody how to get their first brand deal or sponsorship when they don't have like, I guess, anything to like show to them to back it up.
Are you contacting like people daily?
So that's something that I do want to start doing, but I've kind of had like this goal in my mind, and probably could do it now, but I've always had this goal in my mind of, you know, like one of my friends, he does like custom cleats and stuff like that. And I've talked.
Oh wait, is that Mike?
Mike, yeah,
Yeah,
Mike
I
Anderson.
saw that. Yeah.
So he does like
he's very cool.
Dude,
very cool.
He does some dope stuff.
Super talented.
Yeah.
So he does
I agree.
He does like custom cleats and stuff, but he was telling me how at first he had like 8,000 followers, which is a lot. But as soon as he hit 10,000, I think he has like 13,000 now. As soon as he hit that number, he was telling me, just talked to him the other day, and he was like, dude, I'll go unfollow an account of like that has like a lot of followers or whatever, and then I'll refollow them. And he's like, they'll follow me right away instantly, because he's like, I'm like, I look credible.
Yeah.
So I've always told him, I was like, I kind of have this goal of us getting to like 10,000 followers, and then from there, like really doing a lot of outreach, you know, with some of the bigger brands or even the small local brands. But, you know, if they see Opinionated Media message them, they click the account, like, oh, this account has 10,000. You know what I'm saying? They're like, they think that there's something to offer there, right? So,
absolutely.
But I haven't done like a ton of outreach with that. At least through Instagram, but I've done like a lot of things through like there's this thing called Podcorn. So it's like it's like podcast specific ads that you can apply for, and we've gotten a couple a long time ago, probably like a year ago, like CBD gummies, and we also got a Cloudy ad back in the day, but it's not like consistent, and it's not consistent. A big enough brand, I feel like, also to where we want to like,
you know, like we have a smaller brand just trying to get their name out there.
Because
so their budgets are like, we'll give you $10 for this.
So it's not like it's not like Liquid Death or, you know, Poppy or, you know, Olipop, like someone like that. It's
no,
like,
they're trying to get the cheapest possible media that they
exactly.
can get.
And it's like you show that, like if I did an ad read right now for one of those companies, like, and then posted like even a short from that on like Instagram, people are like, whoa, they have a Liquid Death or Olipop ad read, so they're even gonna take us more seriously. So it's been difficult, but you know, trying.
It's hard to find the middle ground for that kind of stuff.
Because we have one in mind. Well, I just sent actually two to him recently, but one today that I sent in mind is I feel like it would be dope to work with because they're local and we're local. So like
who?
It's called Lazy Coffee. Am I wrong?
Lazy Days.
Lazy Days. It's like what is it?
It's
called.
THC
so they had one, I guess, in San Marcos. Or they have a shop in. Okay, so there is two shops. They have like a smoke shop in San Marcos.
Okay.
Then they opened up a coffee shop at South Austin, like Menchaca or something. Then they just opened up a second one in Pflugerville.
Must be doing well.
Yeah. So they opened up a second one in Pflugerville. So I mean, I love coffee. I mean, I don't smoke or anything. So like, obviously that wouldn't like be my thing.
Do you want a coffee right now?
No, I'm good. I'll be wired.
We got you.
But since they're local and we're local, like how do we go about like I guess pitching an idea for them to be like a sponsorship for us because we can do dope stuff together.
I think like there's a few things like my mind would go to like maybe having one for free, like maybe finding one that does fit the pod and say, hey, we'll do ad reads for you guys like for free, and that way like when you approach the next company, you have like someone like you're like, hey, we're doing ad reads for these guys.
And we made this amount of results for them.
Yeah, and like I know it's a little different because like your question was like, how do you approach someone maybe with not like a big portfolio of like past work? Obviously for you guys, it's like sponsorships on the pod.
Mm-hmm.
I think like getting a few like for like, and I'll explain it more, but like getting a few like under your belt will look so much better to that next one you actually want to get
100%.
And
it's like for us when we're making videos for companies that we don't work with, it's like we might make a commercial for them and they're not even paying us, but like we want them to.
Yeah, because like our clients they're like when we're about to like sign, they're always like, okay, show us your past work, and it's like a part of me is always like, oh god, like fuck, like it's not exactly what like their brand is, and like it's maybe I didn't love like how this one was shot totally, but like you just got to absolutely send it on that. Like you just got to do it. And like for video, one cool thing is like we've had people on the team who have past work and we can shop around that work. So like say me and Sean like say we didn't shoot this piece but like our buddy Alex did, and he works for us, and it's, you know, his IP, like, or it's not totally his IP, but like in the world of production, like you really do have people make specs, and you're shopping around directors' work. It's not all like totally owned by you. Yeah. So like we'll be like, oh, and we can make something like this, even though we didn't shoot it. Alex did. So like if they want something like that, like he can do it. Or like we have another guy who's older, and he has like a long career in LA, and he has like really crazy high shit that we have on our website if you look. And like we didn't shoot that, but he did, and he gave us permission to put it on our site to shop it around. And it's not like we were unable to like execute on that, because if we
had him, we would.
Yeah, we'd be like, oh, well, that's $150,000, but like, yeah, we can do that in base.
Like one of them's like a PlayStation ad. Like he directed and edited like a PlayStation ad, and we use that for our work all the time.
That was something I wanted to get into that we kind of glanced over.
Well,
go ahead.
One question I had was, so I guess when you do those ad reads, do you obviously make a separate video for those ad reads, but when you make that separate video, do you run ads on that ad read just to push it out more so people can see it, so it can like produce more numbers for it, so you can like show them?
What do you mean?
What do you mean ad read? Because we don't like obviously.
Okay, so like trying to get a sponsorship, and typically like at the beginning or the middle of the show is when you do an ad read, and the ad reads from like a Liquid Death. We do the Liquid Death, like, have you ever tried, like, you know how people do ad reads? So you would make a separate video on that, put that in the middle of the video for your ad read, and then you can, I guess, make a separate post of the ad read. And
I don't even think we're thinking of it as an ad read. Like, we're thinking of it as, like, we're looking at how many people are viewing on Facebook and Instagram, and then what that's producing out of that is like what we're looking at. I don't know. We're not looking at it as an ad read.
Like, I mean, again, like, you guys are much more versed in the podcast space than me, but like what I would do, like, I don't think it's like really tasteful to like clip out like the ad read, right? Like, I feel like that's kind of like, who would watch that? Like,
yeah, unless you're like fulfilling like a contractual obligation.
I think on social, like, if you put like the logos on the thumbnail, that's like, you get that was it. Like, say, and there again in Austin, like, every big product that you might want to have sponsor your podcast, like, there's like 6 fucking startups that are the exact same thing that are branded differently, and they're all like way more broke than you think they are. Like, so many brands that you see all around Austin that are like trying to bust into that market as like a competitor to Liquid Death or some shit like that. Like, they're actually way more cash broke than you think they are, unfortunately. So like, offering, I think that free one, if you picked like a few companies that you did want to have sponsored, and then you chose like the runoff of those startups that like are trying to be like that, and you said, hey, do you guys want to like have a free ad read, and we just put your logo on it, I think that like after a while that might like accumulate to where Liquid Death might actually be trying to get.
No, that's definitely a good idea, because I've talked to them just about, you know, we obviously do content, know how to do content, so we don't even have to do like ad reads. We can just do, you know, engaging pieces of content with their products, and if they like it, then they'd probably rather. Yeah, exactly, and they're probably more willing to work with us and stuff.
Ad reads,
like
I feel like don't work anymore.
They really don't, unless it's like Rocket Money. You know, I like that.
Well, that Rocket Money, everyone needs Rocket Money.
Yeah, that one's
reason I like
we're actually sponsored by Rocket Money.
Oh, that's fire. Yeah. Awesome.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like,
I would have believed it.
What I like about podcast advertising is that the like mechanism to skip it is like really difficult. Like,
way harder than YouTube.
I have to be, if I'm listening to like Lex Friedman or something, or I guess maybe like Joe Rogan, and he starts reading like Athletic Greens, like, and I'm driving, it's like actually really dangerous, because I'm like,
you take out your phone,
I'm like tapping a 15-second, and I'm like, am I there listening? Nope. And then the whole time, like, Athletic Greens.
I have Apple CarPlay, and I'm just like,
exactly. So I think there's like, I think it's pretty valuable advertising, because most of the shit we make, it's like, I'm assuming 70% of the people are fucking skipping it. And you're just really trying to get that like 10% they're like randomly interested in it. Which is
I completely agree. I think it's viable.
Yeah. No, for sure. So going back to kind of what you were talking about with like the PlayStation spec ads and stuff like that, I was on y'all's website.
Yeah.
Seeing you've worked with like PlayStation, Bud Light, Chevy, Jeep, 512 Tequila, much more. Like, what's that? How's that been? Just working with like these massive brands and companies.
Going from, what was it called, Herb Gym or Herbal
Urban
Gym?
Fitness.
Fitness.
So yeah, like, because I don't want to like, be like a poser, like, so a lot of the bigger ones, those are this guy that agreed to let us like showcase his work on our website.
A director in Austin.
He's a director in Austin, and he's actually our homie, and he's like, he said, like, and this is what big production companies do. Like,
Yeah.
If you look at them, like most of them are doing this.
Yeah, like a production company might hire a director who did an Apple commercial 2 years ago with another company.
Okay.
But since it's his, like they have it on their site. So like,
Got you.
we weren't on set for that like Bill Hader,
Yeah.
HBO, PlayStation,
Yeah.
or the Bud Light one.
Yeah.
But our guy Basil was, and if we want to sell that work,
Yeah.
and
He's attached to
he's
it.
attached to
Got
it,
you.
and that was the deal with
And
him.
he directed it, so it's like it will be as good
Yeah.
as that.
No,
but
for
like
sure. You
can
he's
trust him.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say
Full-time
though,
for us.
like that stuff hasn't really like. I think it's nice when we send a bunch of work to a client, we're like, oh, like check out, like make sure we're good, and they
Yeah.
see that and they're like, dope. But like, I really feel like most of the stuff that we're getting more jobs for is the stuff that we made.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That stuff isn't getting us jobs at all. It's like more like the high-end commercial that
Yeah.
people aren't even looking for
Okay.
as much anymore from our realm that we're
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in the tier we're in right now,
like we can make amazing content for our clients and make these big media packages, but like our main goal is still making them money. Like with those ads we're talking about, like we don't know the numbers behind them, but like with the stuff we're making, we are making stuff that we think can make them more money, and if it doesn't, then we failed. You know? So like if people are hiring us for that kind of work, like our main goal is making more money, and if we do, then we're satisfied and we're doing great work, but if we're not, then we're not doing our job. Like that's really like making content that sells is the main thing that we can do to like help people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the main thing
Yeah.
that like keeps our business running.
Yeah.
However, I think when
However.
when I picture us in the future, like I would like to be at least as like myself as like a director, but I would want to be doing like the big pieces, you know, and like but still having our business model offer, you know, the digital marketing stuff that actually is going to sell their like watch or whatever, because that is honestly
That's
more
how we've
scalable.
separated ourselves.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Like we're not just like at first we were like a videography company, and then now we're like hire us and we'll make sick content, but we're gonna make you hella bands too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can do everything. that
Exactly.
Yeah.
other
Like
media
this watch
companies
company,
can't.
like this Dufresne watch company, we like 3x their revenue,
Yeah.
like fully, 100% online.
That's like
Yeah.
yeah.
basically the lane that we're going down. Is
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
learning so much stuff that like will benefit a client
Yeah.
that we can provide, so you don't have to. Because it sucks going here, and
Yeah.
here when you can
Sucks.
just go one place and we're gonna
yeah.
give it all.
Especially, it's all about relationships too. Like, as you guys know, just when you meet people and like actually establish that relationship, if you're able to do everything in house, it just
It
kills
helps.
a lot
It
of
helps.
Yeah.
It just speeds everything up.
Yeah.
And then, so one last thing about kind of like the level of production,
Yeah.
and like so like digital marketing, when we run the ads, like we can see like the data on how well it's doing, and they get a dashboard, so they can
Yeah.
see exactly how-
Live dashboard.
we can,
Okay.
they can see exactly like how much money we're making them and how much profit they're making.
Okay.
The reverse is like back in the day when you'd make like a commercial, even if it's on
Or
like
or a billboard.
if it's anything but like the Super
Or-
Bowl, like I mean, or not even the Super Bowl. There's really not data to show the like,
Exactly.
like the effects of the ad. Like I know there was like Nelson ratings back in the day, which is like how they would like gauge how well commercials did on like TV or even shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's crazy because now, like you have all these tools, and you guys have it too with podcasts, because you could say enter promo code opinionated at the end, and that way that client, they says, damn, like 20 people actually did that with using that code,
Yeah.
and that's directly from you guys.
Exactly.
So it's trackable back to your business. So like if we were making an ad and it was just going to go on TV, like it's just kind of like I think a lot of people saw it. Like everyone at our business liked the way it looked, which is like great, and that's kind of like the old school thing. And now the new school thing is like actually having the data to show the results, and like you can prove how well
Exactly.
things have done. Which is,
For sure.
Well, I would say, I mean, that's pretty much.
No, I have a few more.
Yeah, whatever.
So like
Let's do
obviously
it.
you guys both went to college, right?
Yeah.
For you know
I dropped
forever.
out.
Hey, doesn't matter. But what are
I'm
some
right there
of
with you.
what are some of the things that you've learned? What are some
They're
of the things?
the same. We're the same.
nice.
What are
nice.
some of the things that you learned like from college, both of you, that you've implemented into
To
your
me,
business?
I think if you're going to college, you really, really, really should know what you want to do.
Yeah.
If you don't, then it's fine. But like, figure it out quickly.
Yeah.
I think college is such a great place. Like,
The
I'm not
networking
shitting
is
on
crazy.
college. I'm not shitting on college. The debt that people are getting is really bad, and
Yeah.
I know all that. But I think college is a great place. But if you're going to go to college, just know what you want to do, at least to the slightest amount of where you're going, and I think you can be successful. But if you go into it not knowing what you want to do and you're just going in blind, then it hurts. I think you could be in a shitty place.
There's more money on
Yeah,
top of that.
I remember in
place,
high school,
yeah.
like senior year, all the teachers were always like overly like, it's okay, you don't need to know what you need to do
Yeah.
yet. Like, just
Yeah.
make sure to apply and get his. I was like, my biggest
No.
takeaway is like, from all my friends, like, you should almost know exactly what you want to do. I know
Yeah.
that's like kind of hardcore, but everyone I know who had, like, by senior year of high school was like, I'm going to be a pilot or I'm going to be a lawyer. They might not have ended up being a lawyer, but like at least it gave them that initial guidance.
They figured out.
For me, it was like film, and like I just never like looked back. Like by freshman year of college, there was no way I was gonna do anything else. I just think that one, having a, like Sean said, an idea of what you want to do is really good, and then two, maybe going to like a state school in state or something to
Yeah.
negate like crazy student debt, which is like just horrible. Like it's really, that's gonna set you back so much. Even if you're like, unfortunately, if you're trying to be a doctor or something,
Mhm.
like that can really like. You can work
We
till
were
you're like
talking about this,
40
yeah.
and then be like, oh, now I broke even,
Mhm.
even though you're making like $250,000 a year as a doctor. So I would say like, one, know what you kind of want to do.
At least kind of.
Try to make school as cheap as you can, but I am still pro college because I just had so much fun in college.
Yeah,
Even in Montana,
Can't
like
replicate
Montana
it.
State was still like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And obviously U of A was like bonkers, but and that was not like
Crazy place.
I don't think I could like see myself there for 4 years when I was there. That was a big piece of it. But there's so much, like you said, networking
Yeah.
and like social
No,
skills
for sure.
and just like I think when I look back at my life, like college would be like such a fun past memory. And,
Yeah.
Agreed.
I agree with you
Networking
on that.
too,
I think
like
it
you
was
said.
great.
yeah. But
Yeah.
learning wise, didn't learn a
Yeah,
ton.
it depends.
Me
Unless it's like
too.
super technical focus,
Yeah.
and like you're really not gonna learn a ton. But like you said, it has to be like technical focus, like chemistry, engineering,
Yeah.
stuff
No,
like that.
fuck college on that
Yeah,
aspect.
Yeah, like film school, like was I know it's definitely different at all other schools you go
Yeah.
to, but like choosing like an art degree is like
Mhm.
pretty bold because it's like it was super easy. Like
Mhm.
my whole college experience was like easy as fuck. I didn't
Mhm.
like I didn't even blink an eye at like anything, but I had so much fun and like I literally would like love going to class. Like I would just like get baked and go to class, and it was like the best thing ever. Like and like some people could say that and be like bad, but I would do that and like go and be like, oh hell yeah, this movie's great, or like go to history class and be like, what, like that went down, like. And I feel like the value of that was actually pretty valuable. Like, there's a lot of other things that, like, if I wasn't in college, I probably would have been doing just, like, also wasting my time.
Yeah.
And maybe, like, I might have gotten myself into, like, a path of, like, I got to do this, and maybe I'd be further, but I would definitely be doing something different probably than I am.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because this Hitch thing was definitely, like, incubated in, like, a long period of, like,
Yeah.
Sean and I just fucking around, like, literally.
yeah.
Like, there's, like,
Oh, fucking around.
fucking around
hard.
is good. Like, I think if you can fuck around, like, if you can somehow maybe work, like, a restaurant job at night, but still be trying to do, like, your media or whatever.
We weren't even doing that.
Yeah, like,
Thomas and I would just like get fucked up every night and like go out and like have fun, and then we come back and like
yeah,
kind of just do our
yeah. I think, like,
commercials.
I think if you took, like,
it was crazy for
yeah.
a bit.
I think if you took,
yeah.
like, a big group of people and had them do exactly what Sean and I did, like
Most
70%
people
of them
fucked.
would be like, I would be like, oh, I'm doing construction, or like, I'm just gonna be a real estate agent,
Yeah.
or like, they would go to like maybe what their initial like brief
Yeah.
plan was or something. Like, we needed like a little bit of like an incubation.
We needed
period.
like a little bit of like fuck up, like
Like a little bit of a corporate structure to like just keep you straight and going.
we were just like I don't know, we were like kind of ignorant. I feel like
It happens though, like,
Yeah.
as you
right,
age
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
just like slightly ignorant.
Y'all were young too, so
Yeah.
it's like that's the thing.
Exactly.
Like
It was like we're just like,
you're
oh,
young.
we're doing our thing. Like, we're doing well. Whatever.
If you're someone that doesn't give a like absolute fuck about partying or like doing the basic college fun things, then don't go to college. And or sorry, if you want to do
for sure.
media or something, like you
Yeah, yeah.
totally could save a fuck ton of money, and you could instantly go into what we're doing. There's not like a prerequisite.
Just get good at it in high school.
But our definitely our synergy and just all of it just kind of definitely was built through college. And then even when we first got here, it was still a little oh, this is our job, I guess.
Yeah.
We thought we were college students for the first year.
Which I think
Austin is definitely a place to where it
it's
definitely
we just want to have fun.
Yeah,
I get that. Last thing for me, what's been some of the most challenging projects y'all been on? Just curious.
Yeah. I don't know, facing lawsuits and stuff with certain clients.
Yeah.
It's communication, I think, is probably the toughest, just because everyone's always kind of on a different page, especially when you're working with 24, 25-year-olds and your clients are in their 50s and they just see the world differently, and they're just not, they're used to maybe they've worked with an agency 10 years ago and it was a bunch of 40-year-olds and it was every day it was we're doing
and
this,
they're
this.
hiring us for our age.
Yeah.
So it's
we're
oh, we got this shit. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I'd say communication, but we're getting so much better at that, and that's what's making us a legit company. So if you're gonna hire us, don't expect bad attitudes and college mindset. We are totally
You're professional.
we're totally professional.
It's just
now.
more
takes some
we've
time.
dealt with all of that. We're past it, and we're ready to just. Our main goal as a business is taking companies to the next level in whatever aspect that they're in. I really feel confident in our abilities to make companies more profitable than they are, and that's what we do. So just making companies make more money than they're currently making is what our
goal is.
Goal is.
Yeah. Dude.
So
How
I
did,
feel very confident in that.
How did you guys find us?
Yes.
So, you followed me on social media, and then we just connected that way, and then probably from mutuals or whatever the case may be, and then we've just kept in touch.
It was a year.
It was a while ago, so I hit him up, and I was, we've been trying to get podcast guests on and things like that, and I hit him up and liked what you guys are doing, and just wanted to get to know you more, interview you guys, and see how we could continue to build on a friendship in the future. And that's
we
just
gotta
kinda
go
how it
out
started.
together.
Let me know. I'm down.
We have to
Yeah.
we should get a table and
Yeah.
go crazy.
Now he's
Well, that's
fully
the-
reverting on it.
No, well, that's the thing too, because I've talked to them because I used to go out a lot too, and I've talked to them. I was I'm not doing anything now unless it's really purposeful or whatever
We don't
the case may
really
be.
either.
But
we're not
no,
just getting.
no, but
it was more of it was more of a fun table. Where we're all together.
accomplishments, whatever.
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm down for sure, especially because. It's just more networking, more opportunities, and it's great.
Mom wants a parents out of year.
Yeah.
I'm a homebody. I don't know.
The last time I went out is when I was showing you guys this off camera. Shout out Peyton and Cam, but the You Should Know podcast, they were here for their tour, and that was the last time I went out. And we got a table for
I'll go out stuff
for
like that
stuff
for
like that.
birthdays.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but no,
We're gonna make you guys come out for the next event that we have.
Oh, we'll be there.
We'll be
Just
there.
let me know.
We should talk about our parties.
Prodigy ATX.
Prodigy ATX.
So we throw these parties quarterly. They're meant for young creatives in town. They've shifted into just what do you think? Letting most cool people show up at these events.
The initial concept was this is a networking event that we're gonna brand really cool, and we're gonna have it at a sick venue, and it's gonna be a networking event. But pretty soon into the process, we're but we just want it to be a sick party too. What if it's just a bunch of people there to network?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the philosophy is around creatives and networking and stuff, but I think the actual experience is more just party and fun, and kind of we show our work at the parties. We did our first one at the Sunset Room, which was really great. It was a super perfect setup. We played
Metro Boomin just had a set there.
Yeah, it was if you saw that Metro Boomin thing during South by, it was at that same venue.
Okay.
But they built it out crazy for that.
Crazy.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
But we had we had 3 comedians. We had Michael Fractor, Casey Rocket, and I have to.
Fuck.
I cannot not have his name.
No. Wait, pull him up.
Sorry. It'd be so fucked if I can't remember.
Yeah, that's fucked up. It's not Alex Rodriguez.
It's
He's a
something,
baseball player.
But it's
I love Alex Rodriguez. I have a signed baseball by Alex Rodriguez.
That's not a bad baseball to have signed.
all right. I'm almost there. One second. Jason Rodriguez.
Jason Rodriguez.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
gotcha.
we had 3 comedians starting
Okay.
there. We had 3 comedians. We had Michael Fractor, Casey Rocket, and
Jason Rodriguez.
Jason Rodriguez. Okay, so we had Casey Rocket, Michael Fractor, and Jason Rodriguez. And then we had May May and Mike Milano. You guys might have seen him. He's like pretty big in the community here.
Yeah.
So we had like a comedy and music section and then a DJ at the end. DJ Chemo. And it turned out amazing. It was so fun. We had like 200 people come.
Oh, that's
we like
nice.
pretty much broke even. We spent a fuck ton on the party, which was great. Then we just had our second one like 2 months ago. And we
That
did
was
it
like
at,
during Halloween or no?
Yeah, or no.
It was what was it?
Because it was like it was like a costume thing, right?
It was
it wasn't a costume thing. It was like
it was themed off of Nightmare After Christmas.
Okay, got you.
It was
Or
kind
Nightmare
of costume.
Before Christmas, but we did it Nightmare After Christmas because we did it in January, I think.
Got you.
It was more like dress crazy, but like the costume wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Got you.
And we had this big old abandoned high school. It's like the now
The
it's like
Rosette
the
room.
Rosette, but it's also like something
Baker School.
The Baker School. And we hired like acrobats who were kind of lame. They kind of flopped.
Lame as fuck.
Yeah, they were just kind of like prancing around and like doing weird
Fuck,
shit.
dude, that shit was whack.
Yeah. But
They like we literally we decided not to hire like really big musical acts because of these fucking acrobats.
Yeah.
And like it was like these people in stilt walkers just being like
yeah, it was kind
not
of
doing
lame.
a
Like
whole lot.
it's kind of
Very
weird.
underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I hated it.
and the venue was really big, which was sick, but we couldn't like accumulate people at like the dance floor or the bar. So there's a
No.
few things we've learned. So going into the next
We learned this shit hard.
the next one's gonna be by far the best for sure. So
Okay.
stay tuned.
Yeah, we're ready.
We'll post
Please
about it.
come.
Yeah.
No,
Please
I
come.
will be there. I
We'll
had
be
there.
something that I like had to do something or something because I
Okay.
remember you'd hit me up.
Yeah,
But
you did.
Yeah.
Low key, this next event will be fucking
So it was good
incredible.
we didn't go to the last one.
No, I'm glad you didn't go to the
So
next
now
one.
this
I
this next
promise
one.
this next one, it sounds whack, but this American Idol bullshit will go crazy.
No,
Okay,
I'm
so this is a
excited.
good time to explain the concept. So
Yeah.
for this next
Yeah.
one, we're gonna kind of do a combo of like all the talents. And We're
Okay.
gonna have a talent show pretty much, kind of
Yeah.
like American Idol,
Okay.
like setup.
Yes.
Or if you've seen like the Drewski thing where he does
Yeah.
like. So we're gonna do something like
Exactly.
that. It's gonna be kind of ongoing the whole time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have an MC who's kind of directing attention more. That's kind of we're learning some things,
Yes.
and we're gonna have multiple bars, so you can
Fire.
don't have to wait in line.
That'd be
No
fun.
lines.
And if you're a young creative, like come, you can. We'll have it so you can maybe submit your work and play the sizzle reel. You can meet a ton of people, and it's always open bar. We get like a lot of alcohol brands to sponsor it, and then we
Oh,
always
yeah.
have a big raffle.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We always have a raffle.
at our
yeah.
at the first raffle, it was sick. We got up on stage and we raffled it off. And
Second raffle was ass.
because midway through the party, we decided we were gonna like hide all the stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why this is our idea.
That was so dumb.
So like a quarter through the party, it was all taken, and there was no one to like. We couldn't even see who won it.
Yeah.
Some guy had like we had like Aviator Nation hats. Some guy had
this
like
guy was
3
like,
of
I
them.
won 2 watches.
Yeah. We had Dufresne donate a watch.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, next one's gonna be great. So you guys will be there.
That was fun.
We'll get the whole community in Austin there. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, no.
we'll be
Just
there.
let us know how we can
Yeah.
help. And, you know, I heard you guys mention music artists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We literally just shot on Saturday in the rain for like 15 music artists. And we also know
Nice.
a lot.
15?
We also know
Something
just
like
like,
that.
we also just know a lot
We
in
know a lot
general.
of artists.
So it's like, if you ever need like, you know, talent
Hit us
or
up with the
anything,
ones
just
that
let
you
us
think
know.
are gonna blow up.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually just sent, so speaking of which, when I went to the restroom real quick,
Yeah.
you know, Dylan Shipper.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Dylan
Yeah, yeah,
Chipper.
dude, for
Dylan
just-
Chipper is like the coolest
yeah,
guy
yeah,
ever.
Yeah. So he,
Yeah.
What does that sound familiar?
yeah. So he,
He's the dude for
Yeah,
so-
we just had him on.
I actually like love that guy to death.
Yeah, so and they had shot for
We
him
did his first festival
before, and,
Nice.
and I didn't know that, so I'd met him at a networking event. But he actually slid up on my story and was like, "Hitch Media, they're the guys or whatever." So, and I sent him a whole list of
Hey.
like artists and stuff.
Hell
so I
yeah.
can send
Shout
you all
out.
the
Again,
same
I'm
list
glad.
because he's trying to
No.
do a festival. I think sometime this summer.
I would love to help
So,
him with that.
yeah.
He's a
He's a good
beast.
dude.
His
He's
first
a
one was
beast.
dope, and it sold
Yeah.
out, and it was a really
Wait,
good turnout.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and I shot it, and it was,
I think he's cool
it
as
was,
fuck.
it was
I
at
like
Sailor's
him.
Underground. It
Yeah.
was dope.
Yeah, he's super just
Yeah.
laid back.
No, he's
like, good,
he's like
creative
he's just
dudes,
like
too.
when Well, when we met him, he was awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess that's it for me. I mean,
Word.
I don't know. Well, you don't have a mic. I don't. Yeah, no, you're good. I don't like the way it sounds.
Yeah.
So, but typically I would ask a question because he always asks questions, but he don't have a mic today, and I don't like the way it sounds when it's far. And
Yeah.
So, but again, appreciate you guys letting us come here
Yeah, that
and
was
shoot this.
fire.
Appreciate y'all guys.
Yeah, thank you
know.
guys.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
I love your
It
hoodie.
won't be
I
the
love your
first, it won't
hoodie.
be the
This is the
last.
first time I've worn
Sick.
it. I had to break
Sick.
it out. I'm about to tell Albert to get some photos.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Is it going to be Hitch Media everywhere? Okay, we'll
Yeah.
have all that down in the description below. Y'all make sure to go check them out. But that'll do it from your boys over here at Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
Peace.